Anas, you're really out there nowadays, guy. Congratulations. People are seeking, uh, you know, good information on the energy markets, and all your hard work seems to be, uh, you know, starting to reward you by the credibility that you always had, but now people are recognizing it more than ever.
Thank you. Thank you.
So, top of mind, where do you want to start today? I know that your tweets that I see, you're a bull in energy. I mean, fundamentally, last time you and I talked, you were talking about electricity shortages even happening in, I don't know, what was it, Dubai or Qatar having blackouts, and that it's
Kuwait.
only Kuwait, and that it's only going to get worse, and we're going to have trouble this summer in the U.S. as well. So where is your focus on supply demand or geopolitics right now?
Before we do that, let me tell you a true story, and I want to build on it.
Okay.
Um, in my previous life, I was working with some people who are important in OPEC and OPEC Plus. And there was a meeting scheduled between two energy ministers. Both countries were or are still basically OPEC Plus members. And the meeting was canceled at the last moment. So there was no meeting. Yet, a well known journalist was tweeting about what's going on in the meeting and what those two ministers are talking about.
Huh. How could that, because he had to
And
provide
the
content
meeting
and
never happened. The meeting
right.
never happened. Okay. And the issue here is we got to be extremely careful with what the media is feeding us, what the social media is feeding us. And I am saying this because the number of bearish stories that are coming out at certain times of the day make us question certain journalists, certain media outlets, and whether they are being paid to publish
Interesting.
such stories, because every single story that being published about OPEC delegates saying something about the next meeting was fake news. The
Wow.
news that there was a dispute in the last meeting is fake news. The news that they were talking about the level of output in July was fake news because they haven't even met to discuss it. And yet they were talking about they discussed this and they discussed this. They want to add this, and now they are talking about Saudi Arabia wants to keep increasing production at a very high rate, while there was no discussion. There were no meetings. So
Okay.
from where this news is coming out,
So
the economists.
psychologically, they want to put a lid on the oil prices. I mean, there probably are some suspects that want to
Absolutely.
keep
And
a
that
lid on
news,
it.
I can tell you without any reservation that the news about United Arab Emirates leaving OPEC or increasing production is paid, is literally paid.
Okay. All right. So
So
we're
the
we're getting
advice to everyone here is please be very careful with all these media stories, especially coming out of Bloomberg and Reuters. And when it comes to oil, please ignore the Wall Street Journal.
okay. Besides ignoring the Wall Street Journal, and I was taught to fade them. You talk about things being pegged on this. Look at this range. I mean, it's from early May. We've had this $3 range, and do these news stories come up? Was this one where it spiked above it? And every time it gets above 63, we get some type of negative or maybe more supply coming on market type of story, uh, because this is not bad action. It's just pausing and looking for a catalyst. I think we're going to break out over 63.
Well, let
Do
me
you have a view on
explain
that?
explain one issue that is very important. The group of 8 in OPEC Plus decided to unwind the voluntary cuts. So they did raise the production ceiling. And please, everyone, notice that I said ceiling, because
Yeah.
increasing production is one thing, increasing production ceiling is another. They increased production ceiling in April by 138,000 barrels a day. Then they decided to accelerate production, so they increased it by 411 in May, then 411 in June, then 411 in July. So we are talking about an addition of almost 1.4 million barrels a day. The market took that negatively, and some people were talking about prices, WTI prices declining to $40.
That
We
story's
published
been out
several.
there $40 has been out there for a while, based upon economic weakness and supply. And you can't find an oil bull anywhere, Anas. You and
Well,
me are
you have one. You have one on your show right now.
well, you have one talking to you.
All right. So here is the issue. Yes, we do have an increase in production ceiling by almost 1.4 million barrels a day. We published several reports basically telling clients, look, this is not bearish. And we've been proven to be correct on this one, because prices went up instead of going down. So what's been going on? What analysts missed? What bank analysts missed in this case? Here is what they missed. First of all, they missed the fact that oil consumption in the oil producing countries increases substantially in the summer months between May and September. So most of that production, the real production, will go to domestic use, and the world will see very little of it.
Okay.
Number two, they forgot that we have the Hajj in Saudi Arabia right now. The Hajj is the pilgrimage where
Right.
millions of Muslims from around the world go to Saudi Arabia at this time of the year, and that increases consumption of gasoline, diesel, jet fuel, and fuel oil. You end up with hundreds of thousands of hotel rooms that need to be literally cooled 24/7.
Right.
So imagine the energy consumption and the oil part of that. They ignored that too. Just to give you the magnitude of this, in a regular summer in the region, the demand, the domestic demand in the region increases by about 1.2 million barrels a day. That's almost what the production ceiling increase is.
Okay.
So there is no reason to be bearish. But
So
they
they're only
ignored other
bringing up
factors.
supply, not demand. In all the
Correct.
stories, it's all about supply, not demand.
Correct, but there are other parts on the supply side they ignored. The supply of Venezuela decreased drastically in the last 2 months, and
Why?
so what we are, well, mostly because President Trump imposed 25% tariff on countries that import
Oh,
Venezuelan crude.
okay,
So
that's a
we've
good reason.
seen the Chinese and the Indians basically going and searching for oil somewhere else. So some of that crude coming from the group of 8 is going to compensate for the decline in Venezuela. But here is the big story, and here's the shocker. In May, when this group added an additional 411,000 barrels a day to the production ceiling, above the 138, in May, the exports of the United States, Brazil, Venezuela, and Ecuador declined by 977,000 barrels a day, almost a million. We lost almost a million.
It's a lot. Why in the
So
U.S. is
why we have to be
production?
bearish?
Yeah, why in the U.S. is production falling? I know they're
Well, it's
not
not. These are exports. So this is just to be clear.
exports.
These are
Okay,
exports. And what
okay,
matters to the international market are the exports, not the production.
okay. All right.
So the
So,
idea here is when you look at all those factors, and even if you believe that Iran's exports are declining, I don't believe it personally, but the same media outlets are talking about the decline in Iran's exports. Even if you believe in that, then what they are adding is merely a compensation, and there is no reason to be bearish.
Okay. How about with
So,
what's hap Go ahead. Go ahead, Anas.
the bottom line here is we have an issue with this increase later on, not now. This summer, basically, consumption is higher. We are coming into the driving season, etc., etc. But what will happen in the fourth quarter, and the first quarter of next year, if we don't have a pickup in growth, in economic growth in the United States, Europe, and China and India? That's where the negative impact of this increase is. If we don't see a change in the tariff policies, a change in the trade wars, then we got to worry about oil prices in the first quarter of 2026 because of those increases,
Okay.
but not now.
Okay. Anything, oil's fungible. Could what's happening in Russia and Ukraine be affecting Russian production?
No, no, not yet. What we've seen, and we know that the media a couple of days ago said oil prices went up. I think that was on
Yeah.
Wednesday, Tuesday. Oil prices went up because of the attack on Russia, on the Russian airports. That's nonsense. Here is why
Yeah.
it is nonsense. First, the increase in WTI was way higher than the increase in Brent. So if it was the
Okay.
attack, the increase in Brent should be higher. And then natural
Great
gas
points.
prices in the United States went up by 6%. Now explain that.
Yeah.
The stock market went up that day in the United States. So, in a sense, those increases in the United States were part of the general sentiment. It has nothing to do with the attack on the Russian airports. The last point is it does not make sense to attack a Russian airport and oil prices go up by 4%. And if you add
Yeah, it's not an oil facility. It's
not only that, it is higher than the day Israel attacked Iran.
okay. Yeah.
So that
Which
does
would
not
be
make
more.
sense.
Yeah. So you went there, uh, President Trump trying to put a deal together. What do you think is going on there? And do you think that President Trump would love to win the Nobel Peace Prize. Everyone
20
has a
years
goal.
ago, 20 years ago, and people can search this on the web, I've written an article. I think it's been translated to about 10 languages at that time, and it is still on the web. The title of it is something like the nuclear program, or the nuclear energy crisis, or the Iranian nuclear never ending crisis.
Yeah, never ending.
Never ending. And anyone who think that we will reach a deal, they really need to study hard. And the reason why, because Trump cannot deliver what the Iranian regime wants, and the Iranian regime cannot deliver what Trump and Israel wants.
So where do we go?
No deal.
No deal.
So the job,
Status quo.
the
Go ahead.
not the status quo, it's even worse. The job of the regime right now, it is very clear. And we have a long time experience with this. They always drag their feet on any negotiations.
Yeah.
Always. This became the customary thing. We've seen it so many times. And the objective is, even if they lose Lebanon, even if they lose Syria, even if they lose Yemen, even if they lose Iraq, even if they got hit, they are not going to go for war. And the reason why, because their objective is to get the bomb, the nuclear
Right.
bomb.
Right.
Because the moment they get it, everything will change.
How do you know
And they know
how do you
that.
know they don't have it in us?
I don't think they have it at this stage because we can tell from their behavior.
For years we've been hearing stories, oh, they're 4 months away from breakout. For years the
I
breakout was
mean,
around the corner.
yes, but think about it this way: there are groups and countries that are making money out of those claims.
Okay, everything's about money.
Correct. But for the Iranians, basically, the way they look at it is, if I go for war today to defend myself, or to defend Lebanon, or to defend Syria, then I'm going to be 20, 30, 40 years behind on the nuclear bomb. So I
Right.
would rather just bite the bullet, wait, drag those negotiations until I get the nuclear bomb. Because once they get it, the whole thing is going to change. And even the tone and the term of negotiations is going to change. So their objective basically is to drag on those negotiations as long as they can.
How far away do you think they are before they come out and say
I
we're
don't
in a
know.
new?
This is I have no, like you said, they've been talking about this for a very long time. We know that they've been very devious on many things, the way they operated in Lebanon, the way they operated in Syria, Yemen, etc. Those guys cannot be trusted. And the reason why I say this, because they killed so many people in the region, and they claim to be an Islamic regime, and they killed Muslims. So how you are going to trust them? Even for Trump,
So
how
how
he
can
trust them
Israel?
if they were killing?
Okay,
Go ahead.
so are they? So Israel's not going to just stand by until they have the bomb. Do
Well,
you think?
it's really catch-22 for everyone. Here is why. Because there is no guarantee that they will hit certain targets, and those targets are really where the nuclear materials are. So
Okay.
you go ahead, and now you are subject to retaliation. The whole region, if you talk about Kuwait, you talk about Saudi Arabia, UAE, Bahrain, Oman, none of them wants an attack on Iran. And the reason why, it's very logical. They say, look, you, the United States, or basically, you can leave the area at any time and leave me alone with those guys. Those guys are my neighbors. They are with me forever. So I don't want you
Yeah.
to cause problems in the area, and then you leave me with them and they can attack me tomorrow and you leave. And we've seen this before. And we've seen the attacks on Aramco in 2019 when we lost 5.5 million barrels a day. So the Saudis basically are saying, look, I don't want you to attack them. I want you to solve the problem, but I don't want you to attack them, because I know when you attack them, after a while you are going to leave and leave me with them.
Well, I wouldn't be surprised if Saudi Arabia is not looking for support to become a nuclear power.
Well, the Saudis have already said, the Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman already said that if Iran is going to have the bomb, we will have the bomb.
Okay. Okay. So basically, the way it's going to play out is nothing's going to happen. One day, Iran's going to announce that they've broken through and they have a nuke, and that's just the brave new world we're in. Is that the way you see it?
That's possible. That's really the most likely scenario.
Okay. Anything that you see as far as maybe hurricane season coming up here for disruptions that could,
Yes,
they're
we
looking for a
have
bad one.
we have a serious problem in Europe, and the again we go back to the media and politicians here and all the stories they make out. What Europe did basically is it did shoot itself in the foot for a very long time, which means that the pain is going to stay there for a very long time. They claim that they are no longer depending on Russia, or their dependence on Russia decreased substantially. When it comes to energy security and national security, it does not make any difference when you switch your imports from one country to another. The risk is still the same.
Okay.
And what they've done basically is they switched their dependence on natural gas from Russia to the US and Norway.
Right.
Why this is a serious problem? Because Norway is very well known for labor strikes. We end up with 2, 3 labor strikes every year. So when you have labor strikes in Norway, what will Europe do? And then we have the hurricanes in the United States. And if we have a bad hurricane season and we have destruction to facilities or even delays, what would Europe do? From where they are going to get the gas? There is no replacement. No one has extra gas to supply Europe. So they just switch from Russia to other places, and they sanction themselves instead of sanctioning Russia. Yesterday in the Daily Energy Report, basically, we explained that the decline in Russian revenues from oil and gas has nothing to do, literally has nothing to do with sanctions or the price cap. The decline is literally related to decline in prices, which was about like 23%, and the rest basically are decline because of maintenance on one side and the recurrent attacks on refineries on the other, but has nothing to do with sanctions and the price cap. And the irony here is the EU just imposed the 17th round of sanctions. 17th. So the 16 rounds of sanctions failed. Why do you think number
Yeah,
17 is going to work? And number
yeah.
17 is funny because in 17 they are sanctioning ghost tankers.
Oh, yes.
How you punish a ghost?
I don't know. When I was a kid, I used to watch Casper the Friendly Ghost. I never wanted to punish him. Anyway, yeah. How do you find the ghost ships out there anyway? And so, how many out there do you think Russia's running
Well,
in
I
their
mean, there
go?
are hundreds, definitely there are probably over 500 oil tankers out there. There
Okay.
are ghost tankers, and no one has control of them. And the irony here is if the EU is worried about climate change, they should literally stop sanctioning these things. And the reason why, because when you impose more sanctions, what you are doing is a tanker that should have been decommissioned 3 years ago
Yeah, they put it out there.
basically is still in service.
Okay. All right. So here we are. We're heading into the summer. You have any price forecasts you want to share about, or you want to give
Not
us a
really. It's just
range?
the expectation is that prices will be a little bit higher than what they are today. We've done some scenarios, and we find out that the without those negative stories and negative sentiment in the market, oil prices would have been higher by $3 to $5 than what we see today. So the negative sentiment is, by the way, it's not coming out of the tariffs and the trade war. This is literally a speculation thing that, again, I seriously think that those journalists are getting paid for those stories because they are fake stories.
Any narrative that could take WTI up to say initially maybe 68 and then more extreme 78? Can you think of any narrative that would drive prices to those
Not in
levels?
2025.
Okay. All right, I'll get out of my options. Anas,
Will I get a commission?
uh, start a brokerage firm. I'll trade through you. So I mean, here he is, Anas El Haji. I know you guys know Anas. He's been coming here for years. You could go to YouTube. He's all over the place. In fact, if you want to meet him, I think you're going to another money show in Las Vegas, aren't you, buddy?
Yes, in July.
Upcoming. Okay. So I mean, that's a chance to meet Anas, and you're going to find his work everywhere.
And
Uh,
those interested, by the way, I did put in my pinned tweet. I put a link to the presentation that the last presentation we had here in Dallas, and
okay.
I can assure you, and I can assure everyone that they will like it.
Okay. Well, Anas El Haji, always
Thank you.
great talking to you. I apologize for the interruptions. I just get so hyped up when you're here, and I have a normal
Thank you. No,
position.
no problem at all.
All right, and really look forward to talking to you later in the summer, see how things played out. And as far as I'm concerned, people that deal with you, it's like hitting a gusher.
Thank you. Thank you. I just want to mention that tomorrow is the Eid, that the biggest holiday for Muslims. So most people are busy with this. So we are not going to see any comments or anything from ministers in the region simply because it's a whole week holiday. So I just want people to be aware of that.
All right, inshallah, Nas.
Inshallah. Have a great day.
All right. Anas El Haji, you can find him on X at Anas El Haji. Go to his website, check him out as a speaker. See him live in Vegas coming up in July. And that's a wrap. Thank you very much, Anas. Appreciate you being
Thank you.
here
Have a
and
great
giving
day.
your time. And everyone else, you could join the team in about 16 minutes on the Morning Edge. And I hope everyone has a good day trading the market. Good luck. And tomorrow's really the big day. We'll see everyone. Let's trade the NFP live together and react to the reaction. Don't just count your pips, count your blessings. You're welcome, Lorena, George. Where can we turn in for authentic news on oil? ForexAnalytix, George. You already know you're here. Seeing Mar. Adios, everyone.
Hey traders, this is Blake Morrow with ForexAnalytix. Thanks for stopping by our YouTube channel. Don't forget to like these videos, share them, and subscribe to our channel so you don't miss any of the content that we provide here for free. Thanks for stopping by. I'll see you in the next video.